Hello, welcome to No Life Digital Podcast. What is up, everyone? We got another 30-day lock-in thanks to President Trump. We're in for another 30 days. April 30th is when we will come back to reevaluate if we will still be locked down from the coronavirus pandemic. I was watching something earlier. I've been studying coronavirus nonstop. I'm essentially a virologist these days, but it looks like I can bet you April 30th comes around, they're gonna tack on another 30 days. I don't see this letting up anytime soon. Most of America thinks this is a joke. They think this is still overblown, overhype. What you're going to see in New York, you're going to see it in every state, unfortunately, or at least in every populous state that has, a good amount of density to it. Hopefully in the Midwest, it's not that much of a problem, but I don't know how their hospital systems work. I don't know if they're more easily overflowed because they don't expect that much. So I think things are going to get pretty bad in the next couple of weeks. We haven't hit the apex yet. We still have an R value. I think Corona's still at an R value of 3. That's kind of what the value states. So I think we're in for. Unfortunately, what that's going to bring is more like economic turmoil. A lot more layoffs. We're going to see a lot more just strain on our economy and how you're going to get these essential items like. You can't buy your groceries, you can't buy essential goods if you have no revenue coming in. After a month, it becomes really difficult. After 2 months, forget about it. I mean, you're essentially entering into Great Depression era style economics, and things are going to be very scarce. Things are going to get pretty bad. So just, be prepared for something like that. Hopefully you guys have saved some money over your lifetime. Hopefully you've been able to, prepare for something like this. I know you don't really expect it, but if you have some money saved, you should be okay for the summer, and then that's the good thing about a market reset is once the economy starts to come back up, the only way you go is up, right? It's really hard to come down from something like this. So everything should kind of come together quite quickly. It's just going to be a tough couple of months. And this is all just, based on a lot of these models that they're sending out and just the numbers in general and what we're seeing in the public. So things could change. It could get a lot worse. It could get a lot better. But right now we got 30 more days. So what do you guys think? Are you guys getting cabin fever yet? I don't mind it too much. I don't mind staying in too much, but I'm starting to get the itch. Like, I miss going to my coffee shop. I miss going to the bar to get a drink or get a sandwich somewhere. That is starting to get a little bit crazy, but it's not affecting me too much. Not yet, at least.
Yeah, I'm used to it. I don't go anywhere.
Yep.
Yeah, so I work from home and I play video games.
Well, yeah,
It's Wednesday.
Hence the name of the show. Hence the name of the show. We are the demographic.
I'll feel it in like another couple of weeks once I can't go to a bar when I finally want to and get coffee. You know what I mean? But like for the most part, it's been fine for me just because this is how I live my life.
Yeah.
Few more weeks and I'll be like, okay, I want to go out to a steak dinner in a nice restaurant.
Right.
They can't do that.
Yeah. It's looking like it's going to be a few months. And then the thing is, that's the thing that people don't realize. The thing is like, all right, in a couple months, things start to turn back to normal. Those places are not going to be open. So even the places that you want to go have that steak dinner or you want to go to that coffee shop, they're probably going to be shut. They're probably going to be done forever. The thing is, like, the government is trying to give out these loans. What is a loan going to do to a company that is not making any revenue? If they need to pay that money back, even if there's no interest on it, it's still they're not going to want to take it. It just doesn't make sense. The idea is to hoard your supplies, to hoard your monies until this is all blowing over. So it's going to get tough, but you'll still have those those big stores that should be around. Hopefully they can figure some sort of way that these restaurants can, I don't know, come back, because that's a huge part of the economy that's going to take a big hit. It has already, but it's going to take an even bigger hit once things get down into the crunch time.
Say goodbye to all your mom and pop shops.
Yeah. Yep. And that's really what makes the economy move. That's really kind of it, you know? I mean, these big corporations, they do a good job and they do bring a lot of revenue in, but it's not what makes the economy kind of tick, especially the American economy. So we're going to just see things. And this is more like, if you live in a city, things should relatively be okay. But if you live in an area where you don't have much, you're going to be screwed. Like, you need to really start to figure out what to do, because it's not good.
Get ready to shop only at Walmart and to eat only at Applebee's.
Yeah. If you even have money. If you even have any money to do that.
Yeah, if you don't have any money, well, good luck with your home. And on the streets, I said hi.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, like, I don't think people are realizing what that means when they say, I mean, the government just granted a couple $1 trillion, and that's not enough. Like, it's just not enough to stimulate the economy for what's about to happen. You lock us down for another month, already the market's in panic. And that's it.
And that's the thing, is what's your alternative? Send everyone to die.
Yeah, and the alternative is, you know,
Dude,
millions.
You can't do that.
You can't have. They're saying 200,000 if we mitigate. If everyone acted perfectly right now, 200,000 would die. So we're looking at, you know, millions that could possibly die if everyone's just like, all right, just live the way you normally live.
Well, that's 200,000 from just the virus. That's not including
right.
any medical issues that you can't get taken care of.
Right.
Not being able to pay your bills, having to choose what you need to pay,
right.
And of course, just the straight up homeless.
Yeah, man. It's things are gonna get. Yeah, people.
We are ill prepared for all of this. Apparently, our system's in place. We're seeing the flaws, and my biggest fear is once this is done, once like we're back to quote unquote normal. Do the people who suffer even go give a shit, or are they just gonna turn their blind eye and memes?
Right.
I don't know. I feel like my pessimism and my lack of faith in humanity is telling me that nobody's gonna pay attention. Once this is over, they're just gonna go back to, oh well, America is America. That's just how it is.
No, I agree. And that's the thing too, is we cut pandemic research and we cut all that stuff out of the government budget. America was just like, yeah, we're fine. We're not going to need anything like
more
that.
More military budget. Let's go.
Right. And then what's going to happen is, you know, the next couple of years, they're going to be like, all right, we have to put some money in there just in case this happens again. Someone's going to come along and cut it, man. They're going to keep doing it because it's just such a sneaky fucking thing that you have to deal with. And unfortunately, it is a reality. We have to deal with pandemics.
Money talks, and unfortunately, no matter who you vote in, the almighty dollar sways.
Yeah.
Money and politics.
Yeah. So all I'm saying is, hopefully you were able to save some money. And by some, I mean like a few $1,000 is okay. A few $1,000 extra on top of the money that you need to save for your rent and your groceries. So a few extra $1,000 to get you through the next few months. You are better than 99% of the people in the country.
Luckily, I'm working still.
Yeah, so that's good.
For now.
Yeah, for now.
I don't know how much longer. I don't know. Nobody knows what's going to happen. Who knows? Because right now they say essential businesses stay open, but they've kind of left that decision to the states, and then some states have left that decision to the businesses.
Right.
Hey, are you an essential business? You determine that yourself, and then if you determine you're not an essential business, you can do what you need to do. But if you consider yourself to be essential, you can stay open.
Yeah. Yeah, and hopefully it stays that way, because if not, then yeah, I mean, if you have some money saved up, you should be okay. But there's so many people that don't. I mean, there's so many people that live paycheck to paycheck, and for those people, it's about to get real. And you need to really think about what you're going to do. You need to think about what's going to happen in the next, people don't really think about, like, what if I'm out of work and I have zero revenue? Not only that, but any revenue I can get, I can't even do it because it's a non-essential business that can't even work there. What do I do in that situation? No one quite really thinks about that, so that's why it gets scary. So if you haven't thought about it now, you need to think about it now. Maybe take some loans out from some family if you can. Figure out some way to get some extra capital. Just put it away just for this time that's about to hit. Because I'm telling you, in 30 days, they're gonna say, look, it's still not good.
We're going to do another month.
We're gonna have to do another 30 days, and then that's when things
Don't
get
be shocked
really bad.
I would not be shocked if this goes all the way to the earliest August.
Yeah, I wouldn't be either. I mean, from what I'm hearing, the numbers haven't slowed down, right? We haven't even started testing as many people as we need to. Like, the testing is still low. I mean, we're just so underprepared. And on top of that, half of the country doesn't think this is real. Like, they don't get it. They just don't get it, right? Now, I'll admit, I was one of the first people to think that this was something that was a little overblown. When we were first getting reports, it sounded like it was just affecting the older population. And then you start getting numbers in, like the R value, the R naught value is around 3. Then you start getting numbers in, and then things start shutting down, and then there's lockdowns. I don't know how else. It became very clear very quickly that this is a legit threat, and
the people who said this is gonna kill less people than the flu. Yeah, and then okay, so I don't know, what are the numbers? How many people does the flu kill in America each year? Is it 200,000 Americans?
I mean, it's something.
No, it's way less than that. It's like 30.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Those people now, where we're at, I will kindly tell you to all shut the fuck up.
Yeah, the problem is they're not listening. They're just not listening.
And that's an issue that's a societal issue. That's an information issue.
Yeah, there's 34,000 deaths from just the regular flu last year. So, yeah. But there was 500,000 hospitalizations. So those hospitalizations, adding to the hospitalizations that we have now, I mean, that's just the regular flu. Then you have to add that onto what we're having now. Plus, how many people die of car accidents? How many people die of this? How many people die of diabetes? How many people die of heart failure?
Smoking?
How many people die of smoking? How many people die of this and that and this? When you add all of that to an already overstressed hospital population, there's nothing you can do. I mean, they're gonna get to a point where they're like, look, you don't have as much of a chance to live as this person. We're not even gonna treat you. You know, we're not even gonna look at you. You're just gonna die, and that's crazy.
You're gonna have a certain percentile where they're just gonna look at you and be like, you're gonna have to play that 50-50.
Yeah, by yourself. It's crazy.
No, I don't get. Yeah, I don't know. I'm staying out of it mostly, but I started taking it seriously because if you can do math at all, or if you studied history and realized this is an occurrence every 100 years, but hey, we should cut funding. But if you do the math at all, basically, okay, so if it infects 2% of the population, that's 156 million people dead. That is more than World War I, World War II, and the Spanish flu combined. If you don't take that seriously, you're a fucking idiot.
Yeah, and that's a conservative number. You know, that's a conservative number. And you got to also remember there's a lot of Americans, just in the American population, there's a lot of Americans that aren't healthy. They're just not healthy. They don't live, whether they can be healthy or economically they can't be healthy. It's just a fact. So, I mean, we're looking at conservative numbers here. So things are going to get pretty stressed, and hopefully you have some sort of plan to kind of adapt to this, because this is not. And then, after a few months of this, a few months of hell, things will start to come back, and you'll be able to get your job again. And the economy will be booming, and that's the good thing. That's the light at the end of the tunnel.
Hopefully, you'll be able to get your job again if the company you work for is, if you're still around.
Right. Well, that's the thing too.
I'm wondering, the mall that's closest to me was already struggling to begin with. I honestly would not be surprised if after this they just go, you know what? Keep it shut.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even retail stores, they've never been doing really well, and now you just completely shock their supply chain.
They're struggling to compete with Amazon and online shopping.
Right.
hey, look, your shopping is essentially all online right now.
Yeah.
How many people are going to return to the brick and mortar after this?
Yeah, so it's going to get pretty interesting soon. So just be ready. Just be ready for that.
I'm very intrigued in seeing what the next like 5 to 10 years after this is over, what it looks like.
This is what I think is going to happen, man. I think
it's either, for me, it's either one of two things. It's either you're going to see mass sweeps of change, people looking at reflecting on our society, or we're just going to go to status quo and wait for the next one.
That's what's going to happen. That's what
which is extremely sad.
Yeah. That's what I expect to happen. Now, that's why you have to get good leaders in to your country and elect the right people so that they can deal with this. Because, you know, me and you, we don't have time to deal with this. We have to work and we have things to do and we have to create things. You hire people essentially with your tax money to do that stuff for you. And that's where
the unfortunate part is.
The unfortunate part.
the big corporations who just care about their bottom line no matter what. They have the money, so they get to dictate the laws.
Yeah. And even then, it's whatever. Even then, it's whatever. But we have to make sure that there are checks in place that this stuff doesn't happen, that they don't cut this type of funding. Because I get it. I mean, sometimes you think like, look, we need money for this, right? The budgets are always fucked up. They're never going to be perfect just because there's a limited supply of money. So the first thing you look at is like, you know, pandemic stuff, you know, space stuff, whatever, oceanic stuff. That's the first stuff that usually gets cut.
Space Force.
Yeah, that's the stuff that gets cut and they get thrown into the private sector and things kind of go out of whack from there. But this is the problem when you do that. You get caught off guard. Your entire supply chain gets fucked. Every company goes under. Everything's stressed. Millions of people lose their job. Hospitals the healthcare industry is definitely, at least people see how bad the healthcare industry is now.
How little your insurance will cover. They're seeing the problems now with, and it relates, you can go back to education, why med students are pretty much like why it's so expensive. They're paying $200,000 for 8 years of college to get a job that they're underappreciated for sure. They're stressed. Nurses aren't making the good money that doctors do. Doctors all have to pay tons of insurance money because of malpractice lawsuits, because we're a country that loves to sue for every little thing.
Well, there's a lot of shitty doctors out there too, though.
There's a lot of dominoes that just keep falling and making the next problem worse. That makes another problem worse. That makes another problem worse.
And healthcare is a very difficult problem to tackle. It's just we're definitely seeing the flaws of it now, and you know the price gouging of all the components for things that we need is playing a factor.
Yeah, that was the Kumo thing where he's like talking about how the states have to bid for ventilators.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's because we do that because we can only buy it for a certain price, because in 2002, with an entirely Republican everything, we decided to make it so we could never regulate any type of medical industry of what we pay for. So that's why all drugs went up 5 times, everything like that. We have to pay whatever the company says we're going to pay.
Now, I have a question. This is
MoMA, baby, dude.
This is an interesting thing. There is a hospital here in Philadelphia that is abandoned, and they want to use it for beds. It's owned by this rich guy out in California, and he was offering for the government. He was offering to Philadelphia government to say, "Hey, you can use this hospital for," I think he wanted like $1 million a month to rent it out. But I get the idea of scarcity. Like, I get the idea of hoarding things in order to profit when times are scarce. That's essential to a lot of businesses, right? There's certain supply businesses. I mean, look at the diamond industry and stuff like that. Sure, it's a little bit different in terms of, philosophy and in terms of practicality, but at the end of the day, hoarding scarce supplies. So I see a lot of people that are like, they're vandalizing this hospital, they're calling this guy a scumbag. I get it, but I also get that he kind of wants to get paid. Like, he has this thing that people need and he wants to get his money's worth. It's the same guy who hoards all the toilet paper and paper towels and sells it at an insane profit. I mean, is he though?
Ethically, pretty
Ethically, yes, because you're trying
ethically,
to
it's really shitty.
you're trying to create. Okay, so I agree with your mindset
that-
of scarcity, but your comparison is diamonds, a complete vanity object, versus I can fuck over people's lives if I don't do this. Pay me.
All right, but the hospital.
That's a very different scale of like scumbaggery to just like smartness.
Well, all right, the hospital thing, I can see that being a little bit different. But say the guy with the toilet paper and the hand sanitizer, he wants to sell.
No, then he's just an idiot, because if you're actually spending that much on toilet paper, you're also an idiot.
Well, that's what I'm saying. People are calling this guy scumbag because he had the wherewithal to hoard these supplies. I mean, it wasn't something that he did, he goes, oh, coronavirus, I'm going to hoard them. This is just, he had a huge stockpile of them.
Oh, the
and
guy.
now
There's a guy that had a huge stockpile because he inherited it from his dad, who was a hoarder. That guy wound up actually did donate it, but his dad just hoarded it because his dad was just a hoarder.
So my question is that guy a scumbag for charging a much higher price than what they're worth in a time of need, in a time where things are scarce? I get why people would call him a scumbag, but that's also the whole point of scarcity. You know what I mean? There's a reason why scarcity exists. And I think I think some people just felt a little bit too entitled to these luxuries that we have in the first world. You're not guaranteed toilet paper. You're not guaranteed certain things like that. So for him to want to charge, it wasn't like he was charging $1,000 for a roll.
I'm just gonna ask, that's toilet paper. Those are like the toiletries. What's the guy's name? The douchebag that raised the price of the pills by like 100 something.
Martin Shkreli?
Yeah, that guy. Wasn't he doing the same thing?
Yes, but
it's still a scumbag move.
The problem is this is the argument. He goes, the argument that he kind of brings up, is like there's like 0.001% of the population will ever even need this drug. And it costs a lot of money to R&D this drug. It costs a lot of money to make this drug. So you need to charge this insane system that most people don't pay into anyway in order for me to even want to make this drug. He goes, so I make this drug. I have to bring the prices up, and I have to charge these insurance companies a lot more. Everyone has to pitch into it. We all pay our insurance on it, and that's why these drug prices are so high. But then again, you also are able to get these kind of niche drugs that no one really needs. You know what I mean? You don't need that drug. I don't need that drug. We'll never need it.
That's the other problem, though, is only Americans are paying that cost. Every other country has their prices regulated, and if it's that high, they won't buy it. So that's putting all of those costs onto us.
But that might make it so they won't even make it. You know what I mean? You might run into a situation where companies are just like, I'm not going to make it because I'm not going to make any money on it. It's just more of a hassle to make that drug and to stock it and to make no money on it than to just make Tylenol or to make Viagra or whatever. So
the whole system it's complicated because there are like ethics, morals, but there's also the mindset. It's a free market. That's kind of what a free market is.
And that's the point
I have what you want.
Right.
I'm offering this price. If you don't like it, find somebody who has it cheaper. If you can't, I'm not dropping my price.
Right. And that's kind of, and the hospital thing is a little bit different just because it's a different situation. I do feel like the guy's a scumbag. The guy doesn't even live in the city. He cares nothing about it. And it's just this empty building that's sitting there. I think they're going to use eminent domain and take over the hospital anyway. But I also get the fact that he's like, look, you want to fucking use the hospital, you have to pay for it. If you don't, then you can go somewhere else and ask someone else to pay for it. Maybe he doesn't want to deal with all of the paperwork or whatever. I don't know. But, it is interesting how when scarcity comes into play, things get a little bit more strained, right? People become a little bit more hyper aware of certain moralities behind products and the products that they use.
Okay, I agree with that. It's just it's a weird situation for me because there is a difference between something strained because of a medical pandemic than just like if it naturally got strained.
Yeah, and I would agree that a better system would be if everyone agreed to saying, all right, everyone in your paycheck, you pay this much money, and it allows us to have all the drugs that we need and R&D, all the new drugs that we can develop in the country. And then that's it. Everyone kind of pays a flat fee. But then again, you're going to have people that say, well, you know, this guy makes this much money, and how come he doesn't pay more into this system? And I don't know, it becomes just a different, it becomes a different thing. So it's kind of this battle between like scarcity and R&D and how much you need, like with masks.
I mean,
what do you guys think of these companies like being forced to make masks and forced to make ventilators? In my opinion, I mean, I think it's kind of cool that they're able to do it, but if you're a company and you're struggling, and
that's to me that's smart as fuck. Yeah, that's the counterpoint of your argument, I guess, is like, oh, but if there's a scarcity, I should produce it.
Yeah, but well, that's different. I'm saying like being forced to produce it with Trump.
Who is being forced? I guess
the idea. It's the Defense Production Act.
Yeah,
which allows
that
to essentially say GM, you got to make ventilators. We need ventilators. Yeah. We are in a time of
stop what you're doing with whatever you're doing.
And make
that I'm kind of personally okay with, because I see it as the same thing as that. I see that as fine, because to me that is a similar tactic of any type of warfare, basically. So if we were to start a war, I would 100% still also want GM to go make a fucking tank again.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that's the whole idea of it. That's why they're using it in this
because if you're at, because basically since World War I, what that has taught us is, like, if you're doing warfare at its scale, and it's a weird analogy, but in a sense I do think a global pandemic is a different source of that same mindset. Like, the only way we can do true warfare at this point is it's a nation versus a nation of a total economic scale.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, you can't have small wars anymore, really, like we keep doing, unless it is a terrorist organization or a small country. But like, say we want to go to war with China or Russia or whatever, it's literally everything. You know what I mean? It's the entire economy has to shift that day.
Mm-hmm.
Or else you're never gonna win.
And I think it's, I don't know. I don't know I think it's cool, and I think that I think it's cool that these companies are even able to do that. Like, just turning.
And I think a lot of them are, because a
lot of them are.
In hockey world, dude, fucking Bowers, that's all they're doing now. They stopped making hockey equipment. They're just making face shields because they have all of the shit to do it. Yeah. And it's like, well, you're not going to be making money on hockey gear right now. Might as well do something that's beneficial, but is also going to sell.
Yeah, and I think in that scenario, it's pretty cool that they're able to kind of just, turn that on. I mean, I was listening to Planet Money today, and they were talking about Ventec, the company that makes the ventilators. I mean, this guy just literally walks up and down my street just selling drugs, like, out in the day. There is a capitalist for you. But this company basically, was having this relatively slow year, making these weird niche ventilator parts. And then all of a sudden, Trump calls them up. They call up GM. They say, we need this, we need that. And they get these huge major conglomerates to come together to make a lot of these ventilators in a time of need. And I think that's pretty cool.
I mean, yeah, didn't GE employees just go on strike like Monday because they weren't making ventilators at their factory?
Yeah, I think
the workers organized a strike to try to force them to produce more ventilators at their factory.
I think they're just like, look, let us work, man.
Like a lot of that stuff literally also at this point is literally just reprogramming your tooling. You have the production machines. It's just it's think of it like 3D printing almost for a lot of the way machining works these days. You just have to program it to a new pattern.
Yeah, and I think some conservatives are a little, I don't know if scared's the word, but weary is the word. The fact that the government can pretty much order you to make whatever they want at any time. But this is a little bit of I think it is needed. It does feel like we're in a war. You know what I mean? It does feel like we're at war. I mean, everyone is like, everyone's,
So I would agree that it's weird if it was this time last year, you know what I mean? And it just randomly happened. I think that's something for arms for. If it's we project 200,000 people to just die this month, fuck it, go for it.
What is that gonna have an effect on you? Because you can't have funerals because you can't have gatherings. we don't want to be one of these, like, we don't want to be one of these countries that's just going to wind up having mass graves you can see from space. I mean, are we just going to straight up cremate everything? Just
Maddie
call it a day
says,
there, because it's kind of the way it should be done, honestly.
yeah, I think that's what they're doing. Maddie says, my
Cremation.
state no longer allows watermelon to be shipped to me, and I'm so mad. Well, see, that is something that we're gonna have to figure out. I mean, are you in Massachusetts? I'm assuming that's a Massachusetts thing.
Don't worry,
So-
it's all state by state because apparently I can still buy a vape this week from California. So that's essential, dude.
Yeah,
Who remembers Fountains of Wayne, the band?
yeah.
Stacey's
Stacey's mom.
Yeah, the co-founding member of that band died today of coronavirus.
Oh, really?
Coronavirus killed him.
Oh
Adam
shit.
Schlesinger, 30 minutes ago, passed away, 52 years old.
Oh man, what a sad thing, man.
He had 2 Grammy nominations in 2003 for Best New
But
Artist. and
Stacey's
Best
mom
Pop
got a
Performance.
Grammy nomination.
It got 2 nominations. Well,
What?
the band got 2 nominations. That song got 1.
Oh my.
It was a top 20 single.
He was 52.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Any other royalties on that? He probably had some good money. So
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
even the well off are not immune. So
Oh no. Well, this is another thing that pisses me off. I was someone who went through pneumonia as a kid. The way that I can describe it to you is one day you're perfectly fine. The next morning you literally are fighting to breathe, and every breath in you have to cough it out because it just doesn't feel right. So you cough it and you exhale, but you can't breathe because you're not taking in any oxygen. So you're trying to breathe in, meanwhile your body's coughing it out. And then after about, I don't know, I had like a coughing fit for like 10 minutes where I thought I was gonna die. And then you start to regain your breath again, and then your senses come to, and then you're fine again. And then you go to the hospital, and then they go, you have pneumonia, and then you sit in the tank, and they basically pump you
And-
full of drugs for
and the
a week
problem
or
with
two.
somebody who has any kind of heart problems or anything like that, your heart rate's skyrocketing for those 10 minutes. 'cause
Oh
you
my
can't
God.
freaking breathe.
You can't
So
breathe.
if you have heart problems, you're probably gonna have a heart attack as well.
Yeah, man. I mean, you can't breathe. Your body's trying to, and not only that, but you're panicking in your head. You know what I mean? Like,
Which is only skyrocketing your heart rate even harder.
right? You're just panicking. You're gonna die. You can't breathe.
Oh my God, panic attack! I've only had one real massive panic attack in my life, and ooh,
It's scary. It's scary
it
stuff.
is.
It's no
It was
joke.
also at the onset of when I was on psychedelics.
Oh boy,
so
that's
having
even
a panic attack
scarier.
on psychedelics.
That's even
Uh,
scarier. That's
yeah,
some, that's like
that's
not a
another-
good trip.
Oh no, but and that's when I learned about diaphragm breathing.
Yeah, breathe into your balls.
Woo.
That's what they tell you. Breathe into your balls.
It was a good thing that I lived with musicians because they were singers. I had a friend that was an opera singer. That's his whole thing was like
They just-
breathing. from the diaphragm.
and Doobie's
Like they
just,
have to
calming
breathe like
down.
that just to sing.
Oh yeah. I didn't think
So
about
yeah,
that. Yeah.
I found out that's like one of the most effective ways to lower your heart rate.
Yeah, breathe into your balls. But yeah, I mean, you can. There's nothing you can do when something attacks your lungs. There's nothing you can do about it. No amount of push-ups, no amount of like it's your lungs. It's just a gland. You know what I mean? And once your lungs are compromised, that's it. It doesn't matter how healthy you can be, how strong you are, nothing. How much money you have. Everyone kind of has the same pair of lungs. Some people's lungs are better than others, but for the most part, they all work the same, and you can't do anything to make your lungs any better other than not smoke.
It's like crazy when people like have a collapsed lung or they break a rib. I mean, that's why, oh my God, breaking a rib, just breathing alone when you break a rib.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, the people who somehow survive being shot and have to take a bullet to the lung.
It sucks, man. It sucks.
Like, pretty much, that's like almost like a death sentence.
And this is like a disease that specifically targets your lung. I don't think people realize how much that sucks. I would rather it target anything else. My sight, my taste, my ears, my fucking hearing, my anything else other than your lungs or your heart. But even your heart, I mean, even your heart is something that you can get a little bit more, like you can strengthen your heart and you can, do things to better your heart. With your lungs, you either have good lungs or you don't. That's pretty much it. And just don't smoke. That's pretty much it. So just be prepared for some tough times ahead. And just for the love of God, if you have to go out of the house, wear a mask. Don't listen to anyone. Put a mask on, a cloth mask, an N95, a KN95, which are starting to come over here to the U.S. Anything to protect those droplets getting into your face. I haven't seen anything to suggest that it doesn't travel on droplets, which is a good thing. It's not just you can pretty much protect yourself from any sort of droplet formation. So if you have a mask, you're drastically drastically improving your chances of not contracting it. So wear a mask if you have to leave the house. If you have to leave the house, you shouldn't be leaving your house anyway. Which sucks because I went to go order groceries today. You can't order groceries. I don't know where you guys are. Maybe you guys can. But in Philadelphia, you just can't. Everything is stocked or nothing is stocked. And every delivery time is like closed up for the next week.
That's because you live in the city. I had no problem getting most of what I needed on Sunday, but I did drop $160 on like as much as I could.
Yeah,
but they were stocking 48-pack rolls of toilet paper, so I was able to get one of those.
I'm out of all paper towels. I have no paper towels in this house. We're running low on a lot.
Better get that bidet.
I have toilet paper. I need paper towels so I can like clean shit. My house is getting dirty.
Let's start investing in reusable towels.
I might have to actually, which maybe some old
t-shirts. Laundry, but
yeah, maybe I'll just cut up some t-shirts.
If you have
do that or just buy hand towels off Amazon for like $5.
I might have to.
And just use them as fucking rags.
Yeah.
Hell, Jeff Bezos.
Yeah, because we have toilet paper. We're fine with that. All right, let's talk about some games. What's One Step from Eden, Doobie?
So I picked this up. It came out this week. It's this game that's like, Slay the Spire. You ever play Slay the Spire?
Yep,
You ever play Mega Man Battle Network?
Nope, but I played Slay the Spire. I loved it.
So Mega Man Battle Network is a game, it's a game from the Game Boy Advance. It was like an RPG. The idea behind it was you had chips that you could pick from, and you would then play out like on a 3x3 grid, you on one side and the enemy on the other. It's general gameplay. So they kind of took that idea and meshed it with Slay the Spire's kind of gameplay loop to make One Step from Eden, which is a roguelike. I don't even know how to. It's like, I don't want to say RPG, but the idea is you have the grid, which is a larger grid than a 3x3. I think it's
4x3.
4x4.
Yes, 4x4.
4x4. And you start with one character. As you play, you unlock more characters and unlock more of the different play styles of those characters. Each has a specific weapon. You have 3 points of mana you start with, and you start with like a very small deck of those chips, but they're cards. And they're spells. And after you fight each battle, you get a 3 you can pick from. You can get artifacts. You can get, when you level up, you can get a random, of course, because Slay the Spire.
Right.
You get a random thing where you maybe upgrade your HP, or you upgrade your mana, or you can get a health drop. And you just play through it. There's different paths you can take, and there's always a boss on each one. I have yet to beat a loop. I think my best is I've gotten to the 3rd boss. And of course, they're randomized.
Yeah, I've never beaten Slay the Spire, and I've put mad hours into it.
Yeah, the gameplay loop was fun, and it was $20, and I got it on Steam, and I've been playing it with a fight stick.
Oh, so you didn't get it on Switch?
I did not. I got this on Steam because I wanted to. It has mod support on Steam. That's why I got it on there. Because I'm assuming somebody eventually is going to mod it to have all Mega Man characters, because like Mega Man Battle Network.
Right.
Which was, I really like. I have fond memories of the Battle Network games.
This game looks pretty cool.
It's really fun, and I like the gameplay loop a lot. The thing is just like, It's bullet hell. So and you got to memorize patterns of different enemies, what different enemies do. When you have your spells, you kind of need to memorize what they even look like just to know what their range is. So it's definitely a test of your gameplay knowledge. As you play more of it, you'll get better just because you'll know what certain spells, how much damage they do, where their range is.
Huh.
Like there's a twister spell that hits 3 tiles away from you, not 4. Like when you're playing on PC, at least you have a cursor for like the tile 4 tiles away from you. And a lot of spells will hit there, like the thunder spell hits there, but this twister spell hits the slot before it. So you're trying to manage all of these different things while playing the game.
Wow, this looks really interesting.
It's really fun. I mean, $20, I recommend it for 20.
Huh. I might have to check this out. I might get it on Switch though.
I mean, it probably play just fine on the Switch. It's not
Yeah.
it's not a very it's not a very demanding game in terms of graphics.
Yeah. Yeah, because I love Slay the Spire. It's just so hard. It's just such
Oh
a
yeah,
tough
this
game.
this is hard.
Yeah. All of these types of like roguelikes have been really
But
tough.
hey, you have all this time on your hands because nobody can go anywhere.
Yeah.
You'll get good at it.
Well, speaking of time sinks, I got Octopath. I started playing Octopath last night.
Love that game.
I wanted to talk to Doobie about it.
Love that game. Who do you start with?
The scholar, what's his name? Cyrus?
Oh, okay, with Cyrus.
Yeah. And
Cyrus is a pretty solid start.
I will say the story so far is a little bit fucking corny.
I mean, it's they're like those RPGs. They like to, I don't want to say be safe, but they're not.
I mean, that's a good way to put
boundary pushing
Yeah.
at all.
That's a good way to put it.
The stories in some of them do get interesting as your chapters go on. Like Therian's, I really like the turn in his, and each of the 8 stories all have a final boss of their respective story.
Yeah.
If you want to fight the true final boss, like the hidden true ending, you're gonna need a guide to look up how to do it because it's really obscure.
Oh, okay. But I mean,
it's tough. That's one of the toughest final bosses in RPG history, in my opinion.
The game is tough, just in general. I mean, I was just starting to play through it and just kind of going through the motions, and I got to the first boss of Cyrus. I mean, I guess he's kind of a boss, but he's like the first real enemy. And I mean, I died like 10 times. I was just like, what the fuck?
I will admit, Cyrus, I think, like, so there, I know because I know the speedrun people and what fights are like generally tough to do solo because you're not recruiting characters when you start. You're for like the first person you select, you have to go through it solo. You don't get a chance to go around and pick up everybody, and now you have your team that you can play around with. I think Ulbrich Chapter 2 is one of the toughest fights in the Ulbrich run.
Mm-hmm.
Even at that point, even though you do get people, it's still really, really tough. Cyrus is not a character that is solo good.
Yeah, I mean, I realized like I have to level him up first of all. I mean, this was like the first.
And it's definitely knowing what enemies have weaknesses to, like, because the whole point is breaking their shields,
which I love. I love the combat
and the BP, like the battle points.
Yeah.
So that system, I don't know about the breaking, but I know that the battle point system is what Bravely Default had.
Mm-hmm.
It's because this is the same team that made the Bravely Default games, Bravely Default and Bravely Second. Now they're making Bravely Default 2,
mm-hmm.
which is the third Bravely Default game. I know. Nintendo and naming. But that game also, there's a demo of on Switch if you want to pick up that demo, also has that BP system of like holding back and then unleashing like 4 attacks.
Yeah. Yeah, I love the combat. I think the combat is super fun.
The combat, like the story's cool, like is okay, but like the combat is what makes Octopath really good.
Yeah.
And the music. I really like the music and the art style.
Yeah.
But that combat
I'm just hoping that the combat stays fresh enough throughout these kind of mundane stories.
So I will say that when you unlock new jobs, which you have to find around the world, and then when you unlock the advanced jobs, which actually require a boss fight to do, they're hard. Once you get those and you have full party of 8, then your combat gets really cool because then you can pick and choose who does what. And then you can have like these different abilities on different characters.
Oh, I see.
So it gets complex and like what you can like. So I'm not gonna spoil anything, but there's one character who has like a certain ability that lets her kind of spend BP and give other people BP, and then she can hire mercenaries. In the speedrun, she's freaking broken.
Mm-hmm.
She's the key to like the speedrun in the like big final boss run, just because of how good she is.
How long did it take you to beat it?
I still have not finished the full fight with the final boss because I got invested in one team and never leveled anyone else up. And the final, like the end all be all final boss, Caldera, is a 2-part fight in which both parties have to fight.
Ah.
So I have one team that's prepared, they can do one phase. The other party is completely underleveled, like 30 levels underleveled.
Well, how long did it take to get you there?
Grind.
I mean, I guess
God, 60, 65 hours.
so even 100 hours because you would have to still level up
Yeah,
another
I would
team.
have to spend at least 20 to 25 hours probably grinding enough just to have characters be high enough level to survive attacks from that guy. Yeah, like I said, it's one of the hardest final bosses. Because I was thinking it was going to be like Final Fantasy VI final boss, which it's 4 stages, but you keep the same party. But no, it's the way it works is you have one party for one stage of the fight, and then a second party for the second phase.
Right. Well,
And
that's
I didn't
good to
know that going in. And oh, by the way, it's also 8. You have to fight the 8 bosses that you beat in the first like round. You have to fight all of them with no heals and no saves in between.
Yeah, that's insane.
It's a gauntlet. It's essentially a 10 boss gauntlet.
That's pretty crazy, actually.
Yeah.
But I mean, so
It's
far
hard.
I like it. I like to find like I like the art. Like I do like to see what the enemies look like, and I'm just hoping that the stupid stories are just okay enough for me to be invested in. Because if they're just
like I said, the nice thing with like 8 different small stories is if you don't like one, you might like the next one.
Yeah.
I think it would be hard for you to actively loathe all 8.
Well, we'll see about that.
I think you'll find a character that you will enjoy their story.
All right. As long as like I'm not even looking to be like, as long as it's just base level enough for me to be like, oh, I need to go do this, and now I know why this guy wants to fight. Right now, I'm not getting any of that, but we'll see.
I will say, if you pay attention to some things, you will notice that there are some overlaps.
Okay.
They're very little, but like there's so.
Yeah, I don't know why they didn't just let them all connect. I don't know why they did that.
The Galdera fight, when you fight those 8 final bosses, those are like where you find the lore of how everybody's connected.
Mm-hmm.
Because you find that like this one guy did something that screwed with this one person that then screwed with this thing. That is why the reason why this character does what they do.
I'm wondering if I picked the wrong starter. Maybe I'll have to pick a different starter.
I picked Therion. But I think Therion and Tressa. Tressa's a really good starter.
I picked the Magic.
Tressa's like the default for like anybody who wants to speedrun the game. She's the recommended character that people start to learn first.
Why?
And because she's broken.
What does that mean?
She has access to really, really good like tools in combat.
Early, or just in general?
Oh yeah. Early and in general.
Maybe I'll go and do her first then.
Because if you do your money right and you hire like the right merchants, she has this kind of thing where she hires people to fight for her.
Oh, she's the merchant?
She's the merchant, yeah.
Oh, I just got her on my team.
She's good.
Okay. Oh, maybe I'm good then.
She has a pay system where if you spend like.
All right, speak no more. Speak no more. Don't spoil. Because I really want to enjoy it. I want a good RPG on the Switch, like an RPG like this. And so far, I'm like, okay, I think I can get into this. It's been pretty fun so far. So we'll see.
Yeah.
And I know you really enjoyed it. The combat is awesome. The combat. has
Yeah,
been
the
great.
combat is like one of the main reasons I love that game.
I just like looking for new enemies too. Like I like the way that the art looks. It just looks pretty cool. I didn't expect to like it because I was never like a JRPG fanboy. I mean, I played a lot of them, but I wasn't like in love with that art style. But it does have a nostalgic feel. Like the way they do like the tilt shift focus, it does kind of make it like more nostalgic for some reason. All right. And that's all that I've been playing. That's new. Still playing Doom on Nightmare, getting whooped. My carpal tunnel has never felt so bad before. The game is
How far in are you now?
I'm about 3/4 of the way now.
Did you finish all the Slayer gates?
No. No. No.
So I did them on ultra violence. I'm getting near the end, I think, but I just haven't had the time to finish it yet.
It's tough, man.
I love how the 5th Slayer gate is the hardest. It's the hardest. 6th one was actually a joke for me. I got to the 6th one. I'm expecting like, have you fought the Marauder enemy yet?
Yeah.
Yeah, worst enemy in the game. I hate that enemy. I would rather not fight. I would rather fight anything but that.
Why?
Because it completely goes against what Doom is. Here's a game built its premise upon rip, tear, go fast, go hard, fuck shit up. Hi, here's an enemy type that you have to wait for a specific moment to attack them. You have to play at their speed, which is slow.
Yeah.
It is all I love the game. Horrible enemy type. It could just completely takes me out of what Doom is. And that's like, it's like, I was expecting that, like, the 6th Slayer gate to be like, all right, well, here's 3 of them. And I was like, oh, there's none of them? Thank you. But I just, and the summons the dog, which just repeatedly just bites you in the ass. You shoot it, it doesn't do any damage. It just goes away, and then it comes back in 10 seconds.
Yeah. I actually don't like the Cacodemons a lot. I really just don't like the I mean, at least in Nightmare, they are more of an annoyance than they are anything else. Just because they're in the air and they're tough to kind of always get to. They're easy to kill.
The thing is, like, I always use a super shotgun, so it's just like I have to switch essentially to a completely different weapon just to fight this one thing.
Oh yeah.
It's kind of annoying. So at this point, I've literally just been like, all right, I don't care.
You should play on Nightmare. You're about that area where you could start to play on Nightmare. You'll like it, I think.
Probably, but I was like, at this point with that thing, I just treat it like another pain elemental. I just pull out the crucible, not the crucible, the ballista, and shoot it with that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Love that guy.
I did unlock the Unmaker. Friggin' awesome weapon.
That's a fucking great name as well. All right, let's get into some news. We got some rumors. Here.
Let's take our salt.
Eurogamer rumor: Super Mario Galaxy and Super Mario 3D World coming to Switch 2020. Jerry, we got some more old games.
Are they remakes or is this just regular Nintendo?
I believe it's remasters.
These are remakes. Oh, they're remasters. Remasters, correct. Remasters.
I'm tired of getting mad about this. It's Nintendo.
Doesn't end, dude. It's just constant remakes and masters.
So, well, no, that's Nintendo's entire money scale. I've said that for like 5 years now.
Yeah. No, it's true.
No point getting mad about Nintendo re-releasing their old games. That's all they do.
For the 80th time?
Yeah.
That's true. Now, I didn't play Super Mario Galaxy. That wasn't one that I played.
Great game.
I could be excited about.
Galaxy's a good game. Galaxy
is it as good
2
as
is
Odyssey? Is it as good as Odyssey?
I mean, it's hard to compare because they play completely different.
Oh, they do?
The mechanics, like, I mean, there's no Cappy, so like that is a whole entire mechanic that doesn't exist. The whole Galaxy idea is that it's just very based on like the whole. It's physics because the different planets all have gravities. You're jumping between them. It was when the Wii came out that game dropped, and It's like, oh, you're in space. That's the whole thing, is you're in space.
Yeah.
But it's unlike Odyssey, like there's no hub. You don't well, there's a hub. It's like 64 in that you have this like observatory hub.
Right.
Then you go to different like galaxies that have them planets. They have different stars on them. Galaxy 2 is the one that like took it and went, okay, no, we're gonna treat this like it's like older Mario, where you move your hub to the next world.
Right. Okay, well,
They're great platforms.
I loved Odyssey. I think about it almost every day how much I want to play another Odyssey. I love that one. That was so fun.
Yeah, definitely not as open as Odyssey is. Like each level is
well, as
small.
long as the platforming is good, then I won't mind.
Oh, yeah, the platforming is good, and then Yoshi is really good too.
Yeah. So maybe I'll get a little bit more Mario. It's been
like I said, the fact that they're saying so one place dropped this rumor that we're getting a new Paper Mario in the form in like the same vein as the older ones, which is something that everyone's been asking for feels like a decade now. And there's always a rumor for it. And then this rumor gets piled on.
Paper Mario is great.
Super Mario 64, Mario Sunshine, Mario Galaxy, Galaxy 2 re-releases. I don't like everyone like, as soon as one person said it, all of the sites started saying it. And it reminded me of when Pokemon Stars.
Welcome to News 2020.
When Pokemon Stars, and that's the thing though, is everyone's seeing, oh, all of these places reporting it. It must be true. I remember when Pokemon Stars was being reported on by like 8 different sites. That game never happened because it didn't exist.
Yeah. So you're saying this might not exist?
I'm saying I'm taking this with a pound of salt.
Okay.
Until I see it from Nintendo, especially the Paper Mario rumor, yeah, I'm taking it with a pound of salt.
All right. I will too then. Hopefully we see at least one of them. Hopefully we see Galaxy.
I would love to see Galaxy. A new Paper Mario that is an RPG. But like I said, I've heard
what
that
if we got
so
you know what I was thinking? What if Devolver Digital made a Mario game? Some sort of like real brutal
like flash animations.
Yeah, like a real brutal, just dark Mario with like a drugged out Peach, and you have to save her from these fucking, I don't know, clan of hitmen.
You sound like peak 2004 Newgrounds.
That's what that's kind of what I want. I need Devolver to give me that sort of mashup. Devolver, if you're listening, there's an idea for
there's Yoshi Fight Pits.
How much do you think Nintendo would charge for that IP? To use that IP in a game like that? I mean, you could just call it like...
I would never.
Fucking, just like, I don't know, Italian
I don't think
plumber.
there's any amount of money that you could give them to even make a teen-rated Mario game.
Hey, man. There's always an amount of money.
That's their family-friendly mascot.
All Devolver has to say is like, hey, we'll fix your internet for you on your Switch if you let us use Space Italian. Super Mario Space Italian. All right. Yes, mini direct. Next Smash Bros. Character coming in June, and it's coming from the ARMS game. Yeah, baby. Yes. That is one thing we saw.
I thought we all agreed upon this fact that we were just going to forget that ARMS happened.
Nope, not Nintendo. They will not let us forget.
And I guarantee you they're probably making ARMS too.
I mean, whatever. You know what I mean? I can see that character working in Smash. It makes sense.
No, it's ARMS remastered, dude.
I expected an ARMS character when like Ultimate like was announced.
Me too. I think we all did.
Which I'm surprised. Like I don't know. For me, kicking like that was one of the things I had when Byleth was the last character of the first Fighters Pass. I was like, okay, we end with the safe pick. We're gonna start the next season off with a bang.
Yeah.
This is ending with a whimper, and we are starting with a whimper.
That's okay.
I mean, as long as the character could be cool, we don't know which character it is. I honestly would prefer Twintel because she thick, but I think Nintendo says that Smash is for good boys and girls, so it'll probably be Ribbon Girl.
Whoever the mascot is, that's who it's gonna be.
Well, the mascot's already in the game. It's an assist trophy, so it won't be Springman.
It's just gonna be a holographic image of your arm.
That I would actually love.
I also wonder how they'll play because they will have like extendable arms. So are they gonna?
No, it's just gonna be a arm that extends. It's just
Like the
Assy
hand.
McGee. It's
so
literally
just like-
Assy McGee, just with an arm instead.
No, it's like the hand from the first one,
Just master
except an
hand.
arm, a bicep. Or like on It's Always Sunny, where they do the gym and they do the arm for the invitations, and it looks like a big dick.
It's the God. What's the name of the? It's Max workout bike.
Yes, yeah. All right, in the mini direct, we got news on Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition, another re-release. Bravely Default 2. Is this a new game?
Does come with a new epilogue, which I assume will tie it to Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
Should I buy the second one to play the first one, or do I play this
You
definitive first?
don't need to play Xenoblade Chronicles 2 to play 1, and you don't need to play 1 to play 2. There's just little references that, especially in the end game, that kind of show how they're connected.
I'm going to get Xenoblade as well.
I like it.
I've decided on this already.
You're getting this one, or are you gonna get?
No, I'm gonna get two.
Two. The only thing I will say is that it's very anime.
You said this, and this is what has scared me off of it from getting it.
I'm just
But-
warning you.
But I'm gonna get it.
The voice acting is not as good as it is in the original Xenoblade Chronicles, but it's
It's
still
probably better than
okay.
Octopath's voiceovers.
What have you gotten Ulbrich yet?
No. I'm
Oh,
just at the
wait until you
Scott.
get him and you hear, "My blade is unyielding."
Oh God, what does that mean, dude?
Oh, he spams that a lot.
All right. But good news, we're getting XCOM 2 to the Switch. That I am.
Actually, that's pretty dope.
That's very dope. Borderlands, BioShock is coming to the Switch. Burnout Paradise, Panzer Dragoon remake. And titles perfect for both casual and long time ago. Good Job, which is
Yeah.
already out.
I just imagine Jay right now. Remakes and
And re-releases.
Love it.
Ports or whatever.
Ports
if
of
you're porting it,
15-year-old games.
it's Nintendo, dude. Like, I'm not gonna get mad about Nintendo. This has been their business model for 10 years.
Well, that's
Like-
because they're behind everybody for so long that by the time they are able to run those games, they get them just
Yeah, that's what
8
it is.
years later.
That's what it is. Oh, wasn't there Nvidia Tegra news? I don't remember. I thought there
Like
was.
that's like the thing where it's like, yeah, no, I remember when I just forgot blanked on the name. Holy shit. The fun space battle game that Mario Tennis is a ripoff of. Mario Rabbids is a ripoff of.
XCOM?
XCOM, yeah.
Yeah,
Like-
XCOM 2's coming.
I
Which
know,
is
but I
cool.
remember when XCOM 2 actually took a good computer. So yeah, I'm not surprised that the Switch can finally run it, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Actually, that is pretty nuts. I mean,
Yeah, like
it was
6
running like.
years ago, you needed actually a good computer to run it.
I mean, it was running like shit on my fucking 1080.
If you cranked it up, yeah.
Well, I think because it was CPU bound, it didn't run nearly as well as like any other game. It's interesting how they ported it over to Switch. I'm very curious to see how that runs. I totally forgot that it did not run well.
probably will
It was-
run 720p 30 frames.
I mean, they must have did some stuff to it, but yeah, cool, interesting. Yeah, I remember specifically that was one problem that I had with the game was that it didn't run very well. But now it's on Switch, and that's pretty much it on this little.
They'll run as well
Yeah,
as
like I said,
the Switcher
it was-
does, dude.
It was a mini direct, and they even referenced COVID at the beginning of it. So they probably had more stuff they wanted to say, but they even said, like, listen, any release dates you put on here always have the chance to be completely pushed back regarding whatever happens.
Yeah. All right. Capcom continues this trend of remakes with Resident Evil
a-
Code Veronica, or maybe
Yeah, it's a
Dino
rumor.
Crisis. Yeah. Oh, okay. Rumor. I see here. M2, the support studio for Resident Evil 3, is working on a larger remake project for Capcom. So you're saying it could be Code Veronica or RE4 or Dino Crisis?
It depends. I don't think RE4. I would not be surprised if they try to maximize anything they can out of that Resident Evil 2 engine. They made it. I would not be surprised if Code Veronica, which is, I think, considered to be like the last Resident Evil before 4 kind of changed the direction of the series a little bit.
It was, yep.
So Veronica was more in line with 2 and 3. And that's a game that like didn't get a lot of I don't say recognition, but I mean it was on the Dreamcast, I think.
It was. I loved Code Veronica. Maybe because I loved the Dreamcast, but I loved Code
Veronica X.
I love that whole series, man. I love Resident Evil.
So I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they do that one, but I know a lot of people want Dino Crisis to get the remake.
Nah, I would much rather have Code Veronica. Dino Crisis, why? Why do people want Dino Crisis? This game was
people
trash.
like dinosaurs.
Or we could have neither.
Or we could have new games.
No, only remakes.
New.
Nothing new ever again. When it comes to Capcom, they can keep remaking.
Capcom's doing a really good job lately.
Well, I mean, they got good source material.
No, I'd love to see them come back and do another Mega Man X game.
Well, it says M2, maybe Mega Man 2. You know what I mean?
We'll see.
Maybe they get a Mega Man 2.
M2 is that's the name of the support company.
Maybe they named it on purpose that way. It's a rumor. We just started a new rumor here.
Starting new or M2.
Why would you want Dino Crisis over Code Veronica? People do not remember Dino Crisis. It was not a good game. I remember because I played them. I loved Resident Evil.
Those games, you look back on them, tank controls suck.
Yes, but who cares? It wasn't about tank controls.
Nostalgia glass is hard.
Yeah. Actually, I wasn't the biggest fan of Resident Evil 3. I was a bigger fan of Resident Evil 2 and Code Veronica, but Dino Crisis sits at the bottom of that list. That game is not good.
Below Fear Effect?
Yeah, yeah. Let me see if I can bring up some Dino Crisis fucking footage for you guys.
It's gonna look bad.
Oh, it's gonna look terrible.
PlayStation 1, man.
It's gonna look terrible. All right, so this is Dino Crisis. If you don't remember, it was trash, a heap of trash. It was I guess Resident Evil meets dinosaurs, but it wasn't scary in any way. It was more just annoying, and I don't know. It was like the B grade team that wanted to remake Jurassic Park, because this was around the time Jurassic Park was sort of a thing.
They made 3 games, Dino Crisis 1, 2, and 3. And as of December 31st, 2019, the series sold 4.4 million units worldwide.
Oh, my Lord. They all have terrible tasting games. I mean, I bought one.
I'm sorry, there's 5 games.
Actually, I don't think I bought Dino Crisis. I think I rented Dino Crisis. That's how I played it. When renting games was a thing. Let me look at this scene. Come on, man.
They made light gun shooters. Oh, yeah.
Bad. Yep. All right. Platinum Games' new reveal is an April Fool's joke, which confused a lot of the people in the West. Platinum Games' April 1st reveal is indeed an April Fool's joke. Okay, so I haven't seen this, so let's watch this real quick. Here we go. I don't know what Presta is. Shocking. Docking new collaboration. Moon Presta. Oh, very nice. What are these icons on the screen? The Platinum logo.
Now docking.
Oh, what is this? What on earth? All right, you're gonna have to tell me this joke. What's the joke here? I don't get it. Sorry, guys.
So the Presta, I believe, are I'm reading the article. The 9-second trailer details a collaboration between Platinum Games and Hamster Corporation, a Japanese game publisher behind many arcade games, including a few of PSN's arcade archives. Suggests 2 companies will work on Soul Cresta for the Neo arcade system. So they're like making the joke is they're making like an arcade game that's essentially like one of those like shooting like those shooters. What are they called?
Like the Galaga.
Galaga and Ikaruga is another one. There's a name for it. I can't remember though off the top of my head. Shmups. That's
Shoot 'em
the name of
ups.
them. Yeah. That's the joke. But the problem is this joke obviously seems like it would hit really well in Japan. Who knows what these things are?
Yeah.
But the common people who know Platinum right now are going, "What? I don't get it."
I mean, is it even a joke though? You know what I mean?
I mean, they're not. I don't think they're actually making it.
Well, I'm saying like, is it a joke? It's like, say like, all right, EA comes out and we're like, we're releasing a, I don't know, a Dig Dug collaboration. We'd kind of be like, why? It's not like,
We'd
haha,
why?
funny.
We would also be like, oh, I know what that is. Like people like.
Well, what I'm saying, what I classify as a joke is something.
What the hell's Presta?
I classify a joke as something funny, and I don't know if maybe I'm just not a good April Fool's guy.
I didn't say it was funny.
True, you didn't.
I just said this was their
Right.
A joke doesn't have to be funny to be a
Alright,
joke.
New
It's a
rule: if
joke.
you're going to do an April Fool's joke, then it needs to be funny. You
it
don't
needs to
just
be universal.
and don't lie. Don't just put out a lie and say, "Hey, I have coronavirus." Psych, April Fools. I don't. That's a lie. That's called
Anybody
a
who does
lie.
that,
and that's
not funny. Not
it's just
cool.
not funny. This not funny. Hey, we're collaborating with this game. Nope. Psych. April Fools. You know what I mean? It's just like now if they said, look, what's her name? 2B from Nier Automata. We're gonna open up an OnlyFans account for her. That's funny. See, dude, we gotta laugh at
That's
that
funny.
one.
It's
That's
wrong.
a joke. That would be hilarious. I'd
And
laugh.
you would have at least 10,000 nerds willing to pay $17.99 a month for 2B lewds.
Yeah, I mean that's 2B Ludes. I like that. I like the name of that actually. 2B Ludes. But see, that's a thing that makes you laugh and it's funny. Not this weird, hey, we just lied to you. That's all we did. We lied to you. Okay? You know what else is funny?
I mean, you should have realized there was a joke from the start. They're not making a new game. They've got to work on Resident Evil 16 again.
I was gonna say it'd be funny if they actually made a Dino Crisis remake. That would be hilarious. As a matter of
Platinum?
fact.
No, they are re-releasing. They are remaking Near Gestalt, I think it is. Or is
No.
it
Near Fina. What is it? I just
It was
saw
a
it.
Japanese only release, I think.
Yeah, I just saw it.
But they are remaking. But it's
Near
not Platinum, it's not
Replicant.
remaking that.
Near
Yeah, it's
Replicante.
Near, it's some other publisher.
It's the
Toy
Mexican
Box?
version. Near Replicante.
Yeah, Toy Box, I think, or somebody's making that.
I don't know. It's the Near Replicante version 1.22474448739. That's the name of it. Okay, moving on. Final Fantasy VII Remake shipped early to Australia, so Australia breaks street date. Yeah, they got physical copies early. They're playing it.
So they got physical copies, like not just like people that ordered it there, but like the stores got it, and they were like, "Yeah, no, we're just gonna sell it."
Oh, how do I get one?
I don't know if they can ship internationally.
Why not?
I don't know.
Sure
Probably-
they can.
Probably get it faster in 9 days
Ah,
than international shipping at this point when you get your package through customs in New York.
true. All right, I guess they're gonna have to wait.
You know how long it's gonna sit in customs in New York for right now?
What if Australia was really just 10 days ahead of the world?
With how everything comes out of Australia, I wouldn't be shocked.
What if they were just like, wait, what are you guys talking about? It's always been this way. By the time
Easter
you get
here.
it, it'd be yeah.
Coronavirus is gone here. What are you talking about?
Yeah. All right,
Starting in
last
September.
Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 campaign remastered, Jerry. Well, guess what? It is confirmed that we got No Russian in remastered form, baby. The infamous No Russian campaign where you walk through an airport and you blow the heads off of all the civilians there.
But you don't have to ever shoot a single round.
You don't. But it says a lot about you if you do or you don't. You know what I mean? It's a good
I remember.
Rorschach test.
I will say I remember this mission the very first time I played this game, and went, "What the fuck?"
Oh, it's so good, dude. This
It
campaign
was
is so good.
visceral.
The whole campaign is good. Yeah, they do. That's it. Just one rule, dude. No Russian. That's all. And then there you go. And now you're getting it remastered. When do we get the VR Half-Life Alyx Source Engine version of this? That's what I want to know. All right.
Probably in about 2 weeks with the rate video games are being remastered.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the last news.
They're already playing it in Germany, by the way. I don't know how. I don't know if it's released or not.
I don't know.
Interesting. On PS4, they're playing it, no less. One rule, no Russian. Did they even say that in the beginning? I think he says that, right?
One
rule,
it says in
no
one
Russian.
rule, no Russian.
That's it. And then have fun. And, oh yeah, we do have one more story. Randy Pitchford continues to be scummy. Randy Pitchford, of course, the guy who made the extremely successful Borderlands 3. Well, despite the huge sales, Borderlands 3 developers are getting stiffed on their bonuses. All right, where do we begin with this? This is from Jason Schreier of Kotaku, who is a expert in gaming industry. What's the word? Management news, I guess that's the best way to
Sources.
Yeah, management news sources.
Having good sources.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it's safe to say that this story has been well researched. He wouldn't put this out if it wasn't. That being said, employees at the studio will get a small. Hold on a second. The big sales when it launched last fall, according to his publisher 2K, which described it as a $1 billion global brand. That's why it was shocking to employees at Gearbox, the developer of the game, when the studio CEO Randy Pitchford told them yesterday they would not receive the significant royalty bonuses they expected. Employees at the studio will get small bonus checks, but nothing close to the tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands that many had expected. Hundreds of thousands. This account is based on conversations with 6 people close to Gearbox, all speaking anonymously because they were not authorized to talk about what happened. Some said it was crushing news that has upended their financial plans for the future. Gearbox, based in Frisco, Texas, offers employees below average salaries for the video game industry, according to more than a dozen current and former Gearbox staff who've spoken to Kotaku over the years. To make up for that, the studio offers something unique: profit sharing. Royalties from all of the developers' games are split 60-40, with 60% going back into the company and its owners, while 40% is distributed to the employees in the form of quarterly bonuses, which on paper is a good thing. That's pretty generous. This system has been in place in Gearbox since its inception, and when the company has big hits, it can be lucrative. When 2012's massive Borderlands 2 came out, many Gearbox workers made enough money to buy houses, a fact that the studio often touted while recruiting new employees. But it seems as if that is not going to be the case here. They were promised 6-figure bonuses following the launch of Borderlands 3. The more years they'd been with the company, the larger the check. The vision of financial success helped Gearbox's developers get through many long nights and long weekends working on the game. Then, in a meeting yesterday, Randy Pitchford told employees that Borderlands 3 bonus checks would be significantly lower than they hoped, according to 3 people who were present. He said the game had been more expensive than expected. The company had grown significantly larger than it had in the past. It now operates a second studio in Quebec, Canada, and that their sales projections had been off base. The game had sold very well. We expect the lifetime unit sales to be a record for the series, said the CEO of the 2K parent company Take-Two on an earnings call in February, but it cost way too much to make. One large factor was technology swap midway through development from the Unreal Engine 3 to Unreal Engine 4, which added a great deal of time to the project. In addition, before Gearbox could receive any royalties from publisher 2K, Borderlands 3 would have to recoup not just the game's entire budget, which is around $95 million, but also the budget for all the downloadable content for around $140 million altogether, thanks to a contract that 2 companies had signed. See, this is the problem with these sort of profit sharing. This is why you don't see a lot of profit shares in any business, because this is what happens. I mean, it's a classic example of you getting stiffed. This is why you can't really do that. And it sucks because it makes so much sense. You create a really good product because your team is motivated. The harder you work, the better the product it's going to be.
And
The better it sells, the more money I
they're
make.
They're probably fine with the crunch when they realize
Right,
like
exactly.
royalties are going to be worth it.
Absolutely.
And then they're not.
Absolutely. I mean, it's profit share is proven to produce so much better productivity. The problem is that is it always economically viable, especially when you own a company that isn't your company? You know what I mean? When you own a company that has other investors and other publishers, and you have all these costs, and there's different things that pop up, things start to get slim, and then promising that on top of promising the profit share on top of that is can get you into trouble. And now Randy Pitchford looks like an idiot because.
And my favorite line. Pitchford tells Gearbox devs if they're not happy with it, they can quit.
Yeah. Well, let me see if I can find that. When asked for a comment, Gearbox sent over the following statement: Borderlands 3 represents incredible values to gamers and incredible blah blah blah. In the most recent pay period, Gearbox talent enjoyed news that Borderlands 3, having earned revenue exceeding the largest investment ever made by the company in a single video game, had officially become a profitable video game. At the talent at Gearbox that participates in the royalty bonus system now has earned their first royalty bonus on that profit. Additionally, a forecast update was given to the talent at Gearbox that participates in a royalty bonus to set expectations for the coming quarters. Gearbox is a private company that does not issue forward-looking statements to the public, but we do practice transparency within our own family. I'm assuming they're saying like, look, it's just not doing as well as we hoped, so that they need to check their expectations at the door.
Yeah, and then this isn't the first thing that's for Pitchford though. Apparently, remember the whole thing with the Gearbox lawyer and him
with Claptrap.
Well, no, this is the lawsuits where it alleges that he took a $12 million bonus in 2016 when development started on Borderlands 3, which does exist, but did not come out of the 40% of the profits for employees, but came out of the company's 60%. Which you could also argue, though, that that's where the money should be going to the whole expenses paid for the game.
Right. Interesting.
Could that $12 million bonus he took had gone into, the switch from Unreal 3 to Unreal 4?
Yeah. Yes.
But he took that money and I don't know what he did with it.
I mean, I don't. It's tough, man. So morale's going to be low at Gearbox, which is not something you want to have. He's going to get sued. He's going to get
He's
sued.
already being sued.
He's going to get sued even more. I mean, he's got the money, so obviously I don't think it's a thing for him. I mean, you can't do that. You can't do that. That's why you don't promise these things. It sounds good on paper. It is good on paper. It always works. But the reason you see companies don't do it is because you are hemorrhaging your own profits. So you have to have such a good projection model to base your sales and to base what you're going to make at the base level to say, okay, we can promise 40% as a royalty to these people if we do this, because our models are so accurate and we can predict that we're going to make this much from this much we spent. And that's a very difficult thing. You really only see it in a few industries. You don't see it in many industries for a reason. And now he's going to get in trouble for it. And, I mean, I don't like his attitude on it either. I think that is also going to play into the fact that the guy's an asshole. This is just nothing new. The whole, you don't like it, you quit. He should have easily said, like, look, we just didn't reach sales expectations. I can't, we promised too much. I took 12 million out.
Well, the thing is they did hit their sales expectations. It's that fact that the game cost too much to make.
Well, yeah, that, and I think they mean like it's not going to sell much more. You know what I mean? Their sales projections coming up. Because that's what I think they're talking about here is like the future royalties. They may not be what they're expecting.
In February, they said that they expect lifetime unit sales to be a record for the series. But it the additional costs
Oh,
are
I
what's
see.
taking out of the revenue share,
Yeah.
the profit share, because they had to make that change from
But
engine
that would
Unreal
have been a.
Unreal 3 to 4, which adds time to the project.
But
The,
that
the
already
company
been.
also got larger.
That would have already been all priced in. You know what I mean? That would have already been all priced in.
Should have been.
It's
Apparently, it wasn't.
yeah. It's the
And then the fact that the company got larger, so they I guess they added more people. So now you have, and then the loyal, people who have been there longer get a larger share. So
yeah. I don't know what he's gonna. I don't know what they're gonna do. You can't do that. I think I'm pretty sure it's illegal. You can't promise. Well, maybe I don't know, because it's
I
technically
am
a
not a lawyer.
bonus. It's technically a bonus, and I don't know if you can. I know if you say I'm gonna pay you this to do this, and I don't pay you that, that's illegal. You can't. You're not allowed to do that. But on bonuses, I think you can just pull bonuses from people for any reason.
And that's the thing is, when you're a company and you're touting your bonuses as a reason why you should be taking
Right.
a below average salary.
Yeah. Yeah. That's another
Like-
thing. It is touted. It is advertised that does.
That's
go
like
into the
it's like
fact-
it's like being it's like I don't want to say like being a waiter, but
It
a waiter
is.
makes below
It's kinda
average
like-
salary, but they make tips.
right, and you expect to make a certain amount of tips to pay that,
Or I think more like car salesmen.
like a commission.
Any salesperson based on commission. But imagine, you're sitting there going, well, I'm going to get my bonus for selling X amount of cars. You sell X amount of cars.
And then you
your
don't get
boss
it.
says, hey, sorry, but we added 5 new workers, so we got to take some of your money away from you.
Yeah,
give it
I
to
don't
them.
know. I don't know if that's legal or not. I can't imagine it is.
I don't know what the legality of bonuses is. That's
I don't know
something that a lawyer would know.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think that he's going to be getting sued. We're going to see.
Oh, I
This is
would
not the
not
end
be
of the story.
surprised if this.
I wouldn't work for this company after that. Absolutely
Wade
not.
Callender is the guy who's in a set of lawsuits with the studio.
Huh.
Let's see. I'm gonna click this link. Yeah, so he is a former lawyer of theirs that accused Pitchford taking this $12 million bonus. Pitchford, of course, called him absurd. He was their lawyer from 2010 until 2018. And the fact that he's their lawyer who's suing them,
Yeah.
if somebody were to know about your money, it would
They're
probably
gonna-
be the guy who's in charge of not your money, but like in charge of protecting your liabilities.
So 2K is the publisher, correct? Is that what that was?
2K is the publisher, Gearbox is the developer.
If you have any sort of, if you sat at the table making the big decisions for this industry, I think you let Randy Pitchford go. But he did. I mean, if they're saying that they're breaking record sales, they created a good product. I mean, Borderlands 3 is okay.
Is it coming to the Switch?
Did they break
Borderlands.
Is that a
record
selection?
sales or did they break record revenue? Because that's also two different things.
I think revenue. I don't know about sales. Nonetheless, financially, it is a success. They're not losing money on it. But I still think you gotta let him go. He's just embroiled in too much drama, and it's just, you can't do that. That's gonna really hurt the morale of the team. If any developer for this has any self-worth or any self-dignity, they wouldn't stick around. I mean, imagine you're expecting $100,000 bonus, and then he's just like, nah, not happening, man.
So they sold
After you find out he just took a $12 million bonus for himself.
last I see, Borderlands 3 sales were around 8 million copies in February 6th.
That's pretty good.
But it was front loaded because 5 million of them came in the first 3 weeks. No, first week. So from the first week of sales
It's pretty good.
until from September till February, 3 million in sales.
It's still pretty good. That's not
It's
bad.
not bad.
It sold pretty. I mean, it's a success. The game was a success. It still streams pretty well on Twitch. I see a lot of people still playing it on Twitch.
It was I think I don't know if it was an Epic exclusive at launch, right?
I don't know.
I think it was. I think it just came to Steam. So that might have helped it. I know a lot of people were like, "Oh, I'm not buying it on Epic."
I don't know if that would have helped sales. It might have helped investment. You know, it might have helped give them some cash. I don't know if that helps sales though. In fact, it probably doesn't. It probably does the opposite.
Came out March 20th on Steam.
I don't know where I have it. I might have it on Steam or Epic. I don't remember. I think it's time you let the guy go. Let him go.
And it was half off on Steam the week before it dropped for $30.
Oh, that is right. There was a big fucking sale on the game. There's no way I'm buying this game at $60. So maybe I do have it on Steam. Let him go. Randy Pitchford, time to let you go, man. This is not going to be the end of this story. Guaranteed. Jason Schreier, keep on it, man. Keep the heat on these guys. I want to know more. This stuff is so fascinating to me. I love the industry gaming news. So fascinating. What do? Do you drop Randy Pitchford? In all aspects, the game has been a success. The game has been a success. Do you drop the guy who just handed you millions of dollars in revenue? I think you do in this case. I think you do. There's just too much drama. Too much drama. Okay, that's it for gaming news. We got one tech story here. Not really a story.
No. One last quick gaming news.
Oh, yes. Jerry has some gaming news.
Bannerlord came out because I have to at least talk about one fucking new game this entire goddamn episode. But Bannerlord's out. Mountain Blade 2 Bannerlord. It's the #1 seller on Steam throughout the year.
I'm probably going to get it, so I'll probably play it. If you guys want to see some gameplay.
I was looking back through the news and realized every single game that we had talked about was a re-release, and I can't no. I can't let a fucking
There's
episode go
new.
with literally nothing new.
Except the games that we were playing, there has been nothing new. Nothing new.
Except for Bannerlord.
We have what's coming out that's new. We have Last of Us 2 coming out. We have Resident Evil 3 coming out, but that's not new. We have... What else is coming out, Doobie, this year? Or at least I should say relatively soon.
For games?
Yeah. Final Fantasy, Resident Evil.
Final Fantasy, Resident Evil.
We had the Doom and Animal Crossing just got released.
Trials of Mana, Ghost of Tsushima is June.
That's another new one.
Last of Us Part 2.
That's another new one. That's it, 2. And Cyberpunk comes out in September.
Cyberpunk in September. Xenoblade, but that's a remaster.
That's it.
Yeah.
And now we have Bannerlord, which has been breaking records, Steam records. How many sales? How many?
It's not Steam records. It's just of the year so far.
Right.
There's
That's what
180,000 concurrents for the first week. That's the most this year.
Yeah.
But no, so yeah,
It's
when
an
Mountain
indie
Blade
team,
this
right?
too. Mountain Blade 2 Bannerlord this week. We had the game Doobie was talking about earlier. That came out in this last week. Like there's still video games that are new that are coming out. You just have to go to Steam and it's full of dog shit. Like
Well, the Switch store is the same way. It's just so much new dog shit. I was trying to look for something on there earlier, and I was just like, what is all this? It kind of looks like Steam, actually, like the Steam indie lists.
yeah.
But
Still have
this does
Half-Life
look,
Alyx, which is only a week old.
yeah.
Still got Doom
But no
Eternal,
one's going to
which is
play
a week
that. I mean,
old.
like a quarter of the people are going to play that game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No,
No,
but
I
do
mean
wanna play
they're
Bannerlord.
smaller games. My point is there's still new stuff coming out, thankfully. And I guess I'll start looking into more of them to cover them.
Yeah, you
we're
find
gonna
all
do
the new games.
rehash
You find all the
a
new games.
fucking remake from 20 years ago, and that's it every week.
You find all the new games coming out. I mean, I've been playing some new stuff. Like I've been playing that Hades game and that what's it called? Curse of the Gods. I mean, these are like smaller indie titles and they're fun, but I do want like some. I want Last of Us 2. That's what I've been waiting for. I want that. I want Cyberpunk. I need a game that's gonna give me some hours. Let me sink some hours in there. I'm probably gonna pick up this Mountain Blade too because I did like Mordhau.
This is better Mordhau.
That's what I want. I want a better
Like
Mordhau.
the combat might be a little bit worse, but just because of the scale, I think it's much better Mordhau. At least the first one was much better Mordhau. Like that was the style of game that they were trying to copy.
I fucking hate the fucking Steam player. Yeah, I'm probably gonna check it out. So sign up. I'll do a little streaming if you guys want to see some gameplay. I'll probably get it sometime this weekend. Mountain Blade 2, and this is by Tail World Entertainment, which I believe only make this game.
Pretty sure, yeah.
I don't think they make anything else. Cool, man. All right, and then we have the Asus ROG Republic G14. Every tech YouTuber's talking about it. Why? Why are they talking about it? Well, it is because it is using the new. What is it called again? It's not Zen 2, is it? Is that what it is?
What are you trying to think of?
It's using the new 8-core AMD Ryzen 4000 CPU with a GTX 2060. So it's got the new AMD architecture in here, and everyone was wondering how is this going to work, and it seems to be working really, really well. So it looks like AMD has finally broken into the laptop class, sort of light, sort of power efficient. Basically
it's really powerful, but again, this is kind of like when everyone started cramming i9s into an Ultrabook and I was screaming.
Yeah, this is they're finally competing with Intel on this sort of realm. At least in this specific chassis, things look really good. Now, yeah, I'm not a fan of like
35 watt TDP 40 watt chip like the i9.
Yeah.
So don't shove it into an Ultrabook, please.
No. And this, for what it's worth, this isn't. I wouldn't classify this as an Ultrabook. It is pretty small, but what you're getting is a pretty beefy machine for only, what's the price on this? I think it's like $1,500.
Yeah.
Which is a pretty damn good price.
I'm just saying, like, I don't want to see this in like a Dell XPS 13 and have people wonder why it's overheating, I guess.
See, I want to, but I want an underclocked version of it.
Just get a weaker chip that will do better in the first place.
Yeah.
And situation.
But this is a pretty cool step for AMD. I'm curious to know why now and where it's leading to. Are we going to see some creator class notebooks soon? I mean, that's the reason why I would go AMD over Intel right now, is because you're going to get more cores.
You're going to get more power and you're going to get worse battery life.
Yeah.
If you
need like some encoding power, you want to do some encoding, then that's why I would get an AMD over an Intel.
Like creator laptop, I guess, is a good spot for it. Like the old style professional laptop of like, if you can sacrifice 2 hours of battery life, but you need the extra power you're going to get from it, looks like a good chip.
Yeah. I am curious to know how hot it runs. I mean, it seems to be doing pretty well from what I've seen. And then you throw a 2060 in there. It's not too bad. And I do like the way that this laptop looks. I don't like the back of it with the LED thing.
I actually hate how this laptop looks, honestly.
I don't mind it. I like, it is aluminum. I don't like the back of it. I don't like the way that stupid fucking LED
I don't like
looks.
the lights, and I hate like the giant back fans like it's an old HP from 2000.
I hate that as well. I hate the fucking ugly gamer keys. Please
this isn't a laptop for me.
No, please make a fucking like a good laptop like this, but
make like the concept 7 series or whatever with this.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. Correct. Exactly. But AMD seems to be doing very, very well. Oh, there was a new Dell that got released actually, right? It was like a Dell XPS 13. Got an update as well. And they finally made it a 16:10 aspect ratio. So they got rid of that little like chin that was at the bottom. They just kind of increased it. They threw in the Intel 10th gen chips, and they just kind of, it's just a little bit of a better laptop. And now you got a really good Dell XPS 13. So that's something to take into account as well when you're doing some shopping for laptops. Now the $1,000 lap. Let me see here.
Because if this is the one I was looking at last week, so let's see, what is this?
Let me see here. Let me see the specs.
Well, I'm just curious.
i7.
Well, I saw there you can get multiple versions. I want to see if this is the 15 or the.
Yeah, I don't know. Actually, I need to get the specs up.
No, it's a 25 watt. Okay. It's normally a 15 watt. So
It's
this is
a
normally the
i7
15 watt chip. Yeah.
i7 25 watt. And then it comes with the new Iris Plus that everyone's screaming about, but that can basically just work as a GPU. They got rid of SD card slot, but they gave you a little bit of a bigger screen. They just made the screen look a little bit cleaner, and it's just a little bit more better. It's just faster, a little bit more efficient.
I'm curious to see how this benchmarks too, because that is a more powerful chip than the one in the MacBook Air, which I
Yes.
see as a heavy competitor because the MacBook Air is the same thing for cheaper without a touchscreen.
Yes. And honestly,
So-
I would probably go with the MacBook still.
Because the MacBook Air, you're going to be running the 10 watt version, and the Dell has the 15 watt version, but otherwise they're the same chip.
Mm-hmm.
So the Dell's going to have a little bit more power, but I'm interested to see how those translate because the Air for the same specs is like $200 cheaper.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can get a little bit more of a higher clock on this one as well. But it's not coming with... Oh, I see here. Hold on a second. So you have to go with the i7 version. Whoa. You cannot get anything other than 8 gigabytes of memory. Of DDR3 memory. Why? Why can't I add memory to this? Dude, first of all, Dell, you need to fix your website. How do I even... Okay, you can. So you have to go to this version here. So you have to start with the 1250 version. And then you can upgrade your CPU and then you to the i7, or upgrade to 16 gigabytes of DDR4. Otherwise, if you want the $1,000 version, you're only getting 8 gigabytes of DDR3 memory, which is interesting. So that's something, and only 256. So that's not too bad. So you're sacrificing memory pretty heavily for that.
You are,
$250.
but you do get the better chip. So because I'm looking it up now, that other chip should be a good amount better than the MacBook Air chip. So it depends on what you need more. Do you need more memory? Do you need more horsepower?
Yeah. Yeah, otherwise, if you go like the i5, let's say you go the i7 with 16 gigabytes of RAM, 256, you're still looking at like $1,600. So yeah, the MacBook would still be cheaper. It's just a little bit underclocked. And I would also say you're probably getting a better screen on the XPS. I don't know that for a fact, but I know those MacBook Air screens aren't P3, and I know that they're not very bright. I don't think they are.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, I don't think they're either.
But I don't know.
I think they're P3, but they're not as bright. But I could be wrong.
I don't think.
I know they're
350.
400 nits instead of 600.
Yeah, they're 400 nits, and I don't know if it's P3. I don't think it is. I think they're just the Retina, whatever they call them. But that's those would be two competitors. I would probably still go with the MacBook, to be honest, because if you're looking at something like this, I really like the small design of the MacBook, and I want Mac OS, and I wouldn't mind a little bit less of a spec for what you get. I would have to really look at the screens to make that decision. Otherwise, I'd probably go with something a little bit beefier if you need a dedicated GPU, which we don't have much options other than MacBook Pros or something like a Razer laptop or one of these gaming machines with an RTX in it.
Yeah, it's not P3. I was just looking it up.
Okay. So that's a big consideration too, I don't know what these Dell XPS 13 screens are like, but I know a lot of people really like them. I don't even think they're I don't think they're anything. I think they just have an sRGB rating and they're just, kind of bright. You know what I mean? So the screens might be pretty similar. Might just, look a little cleaner on the XPS just because they got rid of that chin and they pushed the bezels out a little bit more. And that's it for laptops and tech. There's nothing in tech. Nothing's going on. Everyone's supply chains are screwed up. We have no supply chains. Corona has screwed up the world. That's it, guys. That's it for the show. Oh, I lied. If you guys want a piece of software really quickly, you need to connect two computers. You have one PC, one desktop, another desktop. You have two monitors. One monitor goes to one desktop, the other monitor goes to the other desktop. Instead of using two mouses and keyboards or using a KVM switch, you can download a free program on GitHub called Barrier. And what it is essentially not Synology. It's essentially Synergy, which is a program that costs like $100, and it allows you to use your one mouse and one keyboard between both computers. But Barrier, it's on GitHub for free, and it does the same thing. So there you go. It's right here. I'll show you on the screen. But from Debauchy, Barrier from Debauchy. And it works really, really well. Very simple, very easy to use. There's a little bit of a setup that's involved, but it's not too difficult. And it works great. And I've been using Barrier to connect because this is my streaming PC, this is my gaming PC. They run two different monitors. And for so long thank you so much for the 13-month subscription, Grocery Boy. But I've been using two computers, two keyboards, and I was getting sick of it. I forgot that you can actually just use one for both. So there you go. There's a little tech tip for you. Anything else, guys, before we get out of here? All right, everyone. We'll catch you guys next week. Tuesday? I think Tuesday next week. We should be here Tuesday next week, so be ready for that, 6:30 p.m. Eastern. Hit up our website at No Life Digital. Make sure you follow us over on our podcasts. Subscribe on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play Radio, Spotify. We're all over the place. YouTube, Twitch. All right, everyone. Peace, peace.